It's time to crack out the ELC. I don't play this thing very often. It's a really fun little tank. I really like it. It's just not a tank that you can really carry that consistently in. I break my own rule of never scouting the Malinovka field. I trust my platoon mates to be able to carry, even if the puppies don't take hill when they should. So first order of business is to zip out to the little bush here and camo up. I lock my hull in position so that I don't accidentally give away my position by traversing. This Crusader I keep my eye on. He's only 175 meters away. If he begins rushing at me, I'm going to have to open fire and reverse away from him. I try and call fire on him first, just to get him away from me. With camo paint, camo crew, and camo net, he really shouldn't be able to see me until he's about 50 meters away, but better safe than sorry. So I try and encourage the team to continue firing at him. I don't fire myself. I don't want to reveal my position. So there's a bit of damage going in there. Enemy are down an SU-152 already, which is very good in the Tier 7 match. The tanks in base are beginning to turtle up behind the buildings because they don't want to get shot. Now obviously they got a counter scout across and they spotted our T-49, but he's not very good at his T-49, so I wouldn't say it was a big loss. You can see here my team is slowly beginning to move up towards the hill where they should be. RM7 has a stock radio, you'll notice, because I can't see him on my map. If one of my teammates nearby him had the relaying skill, I would be able to see him. So this is sort of true scouting here, just having a bit of patience, sitting around, seeing if any enemy will come out, but after a while I decide, I might move. And in doing so I light these two guys who are cowering behind a building, didn't have an angle on them before. I decide just before I make my exit from the field, I'll make a cheeky shot into this guy. So I slap him for most of his hit points, and after a couple seconds hesitation, which was probably a bad idea, I think, maybe I'd better not hang around out in the field after I just fired my gun. So I quickly zip back into my own base. And a couple of the baddies are still lingering around, but that's okay. My platoon mates are moving towards the hill, I trust them. Now, I make a quick snap decision here. The enemy only have Tier 5s and a single Tier 6 left in their base. They've got a couple of Tier 5s on the way up the hill. Most of them are hurting, and I'm quite good at hiding, so... I'm sorry, Tier 6, Cromwell. So it's mostly Tier 5s, 2 Tier 6s. All of them except the 3-4 are damaged. So I decide, fuck it, I'll drive into their base and clean up their backfield. Now you can see me struggling here to try and find something I have shots on. The ELC's amazing gun is compensated by some of the most atrocious gun handling in the game. Between the aim bloom and aim time, you have to wait almost 10 seconds for the thing to aim in, and it's so hideously inaccurate anyway, you're not going to hit. So I ignore the guys in base, the rest of my team will take care of them. I want those juicy SPGs, so I drive straight through, nobody spots me, or at least I don't think anybody spots me, I don't have 6th sense on this crew yet. So I head straight for the forest, I figure, yep, one here, and one will probably be up at F0, thereabouts. Now, foolishly I stop and try and aim. Like I said, I don't play the ELC very often. I've forgotten you need to joust in the ELC. Drive right up to people and pop. Don't even wait for aim. Get so close that aiming isn't an issue. So I drive up, I think I'll get this next guy in G or F0. Sure enough, G0. And once again the same mistake. I stop and aim and my shot goes wild. So I just pick up my speed and continue driving. This guy's oblivious. He's almost certainly in arty mode looking at the hill, so he doesn't notice the shell go past him. Now he should have noticed that, but pubby artillery drivers get some of the worst tunnel vision you could imagine when they're in arty mode. He fires his gun and only then does he realise there's an ELC behind him, but it's too late. Too late for that S51. It's down to 2 tanks now. I start heading up the hill hoping to get a shot or two into the last guy, this T-25. My hopes are buoyed by the fact that he's actually killing people on top of the hill there. Unfortunately for me, it looks as though my teammates might beat me there. Notice those KV-3s who were begging for pushes at the start did actually make it up the hill. Never push tanks. It blocks potential escape routes, it risks team damage fines, and pick up the last guy cheekily before the KV-3 can. But yeah, don't push people, don't block people, stay away from other tanks, give them room. Don't bump them when they're aiming. Make sure you've got at least 6 feet of space between you and a teammate, unless they specifically ask you and you know they're good enough to know what they're doing. If a player asks you for a push, just decline, don't do it. You'll damage your own tank, you'll risk yourself, you won't get into positions you need to be because they'll slow you down. It's not worth the risk. Let them climb up the hill. The KV-3 especially doesn't need a push, it's got plenty of horsepower.